Welcome to the Think Factory podcast. We got one question for you. What keeps you up at night?
Welcome to the Think Factory. My name is Anthony Davis. I'm one of the founders of the Think Factory. Think Factory is powered by OGC Solutions, and it's a platform for executives to share thoughts about business and leadership. And we're always asking leaders, what's keeping them up at night? What are they thinking about? Today I have an exciting guest to talk to. His name is John Harada from Solace AI. And John, before I let you introduce yourself, today we're going to be talking about AI. That's what Solus is all about. But as I was thinking about it, talking about your company really being next gen already, when AI is so new and everyone's thinking about how do we integrate AI into our business? How do we use it for business decisions and making good decisions in general? And here you are already at the next gen. So I think our listeners will be interested to hear about you and your business and what you're up to. So hello, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. It's great talking with you again. Like you said, I'm a co-owner with my wife of Solace AI, a small company based out of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, just outside of Allentown. And we basically took AI from having no memory and not being able to help people completely because of that, to having a structured memory that is regulatory compliant by design for pretty much everyone: hospitals, banks, schools, governments, disaster relief. And it's something that can work across every platform, and it's real and existing right now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And I think that's when I started learning about your company and then talking to you about it, I think this next step you've taken with how you're processing information and storing it, but locally, right? Is that one of the things that there's a focus in this persistent memory you talked about?
Absolutely, yes. You cannot make this work in doing it through the cloud. The second you go to the cloud, automatically, by pure definition, you are no longer regulatory compliant, or if you are, you're just barely. And there's not enough server space in the world to keep everything persistent. We store stuff locally, and it's in a structured format where we're using a database the way it's intended to be used. People forgot how it's supposed to be implemented. They took the information of ID, message, time, but they put it in one column.
Right.
They're using rows, but they don't realize, if you don't tell the AI, whether it's the user or the AI, and you're not putting each one into a column, there's no structure to it. The accountant would tell you, I can't audit this at all. It's like handing him a receipt saying, someone somewhere spent $200 on something, but we don't know what it's for or what it is. And doing it locally and having that structure, it's auditable, it's permanent, the AI can do it, and that makes it regulatory compliant from the start, just by design.
Right, and it stays local, right? It stays within your system, rather than, as you're saying, going up to the cloud, right? And I think that'll be super. I mean, I know for me, I'm a practicing attorney with OGC Solutions. Like, everything's confidential. We have to maintain client records, information, data confidentially. we do not like using AI or going out to, chat GPT because everything becomes shared. So, in fact, we have a policy against it. But after you told me about it, I was thinking, what a really welcome development with AI, especially if I thought of banking immediately, right? Like if they want to do anything, use the AI for decision making or account review or anything related to their clients and customers that have all this confidential financial information. I think it's like well suited for that. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And going with the whole local thing, when AI started and they went for cloud use, it made sense and it was needed to go to cloud use because of the cost and the size of the hardware. If you think back
Yeah.
10 years ago, your cell phone could hold 5 pictures and 50 contacts. If you met someone else, you had to decide, well, I can add you, but I like that person less. Right now, my phone can store the entire season of whatever show you want and still have space and be able to process more than most computers. So, with a bank, being able to have that hardware capacity locally in each branch,
Hmm.
banks banks already have the capability to send stuff between each other in each region. So the United States has theirs, European Union, China, and so forth. And people think, oh, it's leaving one branch to another. That's cloud use, but it's not. It's regulated lanes.
Okay.
And the lane in the United States cannot talk to the lanes going on in Europe. That's where Swift financial stuff comes in for international banking,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that's where people keep thinking you need blockchain with crypto because that handles everything compliantly, but it doesn't. And banks don't want that because it's public and visible, whereas my method makes it local, private, and secure.
Yeah,
And
that seems to me like the huge appeal to it. And I keep thinking like what your target users would be, but it's such a broad, like it's really every business, right? Like I could think of a big company that has multiple locations, even like the HR function, right? You could use Solus AI to manage the HR function as you're managing all this confidential information and when you want to analyze it in various ways, right? Or get answers to whatever questions you have about your employee population, uh, and you can keep all that local, right?
absolutely, yes, it's actually, we have a system that's on our website if you wanted, solusai.net, where if you have something you want to put in, you can put a user in, you can put every bit of their HR information, social security, whatever. And because it is a closed loop system, nothing leaves the grounds to the cloud. There's no internet API calls. Everything just connects through Wi Fi with no internet directly to the hosted AI. And it stores locally. It has able to be scaled from not just one device talking to the AI, but you can have a whole building connected to it. We got it to work on a 5-year old M1 MacBook and a 2-year old cell phone. So with that consumer grade software,
Yeah.
it can easily scale much further for an actual company able to put in limited resources, because you're not just going out buying everything new, you're just using what you have in a more smarter, more efficient, private, safer, compliant way.
Yeah, that's great. And that always makes me think about, as an executive or leader of a company, like adopting new technology, rolling out some new, there's always the challenges with budget. There's always the challenge with user adoption. And from the way you've been describing it, it sounds like, if you can use your existing infrastructure and technology that you have, the budget issue goes away.
The issue doesn't just go away. You're saving money pretty much right from the start, because if you're not using the cloud, you're not paying the storage fees. And as I said, the existing hardware that you're using, it's able to be used for this.
Mm.
So instead of having it stored someplace else where it can be data mined and you're paying for it, you own your actual data, you're compliant. So you're actually proactively saving money, because if there's a data breach, you're liable for stuff. But in having a safer, more regulatory compliant method, you've already helped yourself, and future self will absolutely love you because
Right.
you're
Right.
saving money and you won't have those data breaches.
Yeah, and that certainly data breach, protecting information, mission critical for any business. Um, but as I was thinking, so you're really at the start of right? You're really a startup business, and you're looking to go to the next step. Maybe describe a little bit like what your next step for your business is, and what you see some of the challenges that are ahead of you.
We are absolutely a new business. Um, I hate saying this because I don't want to brag too much, but there are companies with teams with billions of dollars. People have spent their whole careers on this. We came at it from a different angle, just not having the industry assumptions. And we figured this out 4 months ago. So there's very few people that know about us or our solution, which is why we're submitting papers. My sons are presenting in October. We're submitting to other conferences, and we have some academic support, some people who are assisting us. And as word gets out there, and as we're able to demonstrate use cases for not just banking, but education, hospitals, disaster relief, that
Hmm.
makes it more where people will want to actually use it.
Well, that's yeah. Yeah, and that's sort of the challenge at the beginning, right? Is how do you focus your energies? Um, and what do you think are some of the challenges as you're scaling up? Like what's the thing that's right in front of you right now?
As far as scaling up, we have the technology to prove what we're doing. We can show how it works live right now, because while others are talking about theory or possibilities, like I said, we're there. We have it. It's real. And we can show how it is readily, with like a month's worth of polish, just for that company
Yeah.
to use it the way they want to. But it is readily implementable for disaster relief, and it can have a meaningful actual use case and help people right away.
Hmm.
So the problem's not exactly with scaling per se, it's just getting the word out there. And people, I'm not asking people to trust me or a 16 and 18-year-old presenting. I'm asking you to trust all of the experts in the field who are reviewing and agreeing and validating everything that we're showing them.
No, that's great. Yeah, maybe talk a little bit about some of the peer review feedback you've been getting.
We submitted recently to CCSC, um, Computer College Computer Science Consortium. They're doing a conference at Arcadia in October. Uh, just through sheer timing, we missed the faculty track, but we had an opening for the student track. And I basically, like any good dad, voluntold with my kids and said, you know this stuff, here you go. If you want ice cream, make it work, make it
Yeah,
happen.
that's right.
And they put together what was needed. They wrote the paper, they've got the demo, and it was accepted. It was peer reviewed by a committee of 4 professors, experts in the field, and they get to present it in October. We're also then building on it to show the further use cases and are submitting a paper the end of this month to a conference down in Georgia at Mercer.
Wow. Well, that is great validation, right? Or at least getting it out there, getting reviewed by some of the key industry players. And it doesn't surprise me that you've got the younger members of your team, your sons, at the forefront of the coding and working on the project. I mean, this is really AI is being led by the younger generation, and it doesn't surprise me that that their ages 16 and 18 would be pushing the next gen of AI already. I think it's fascinating what you guys are doing.
Yeah, they definitely keep me in check. I know the method, I know how it processes. Uh, they often, kids are great for keeping parents humble, and they're no exception in reminding me and making me feel like looking at the VCR blinking 12
Right.
and telling me how, no, you have to do it this way. Um, with actual use cases, though, they're telling me we have to do something specific where we introduced Cassie at Arcadia. So the paper we're doing, and there is no student track, we are automatically going right to faculty, and we're doing disaster relief. And it's one of those things where if you go there, there is no infrastructure because hurricane, fire, flood, whatever, uh, communications are out. There's no electricity. Our system, you can bring a computer down, you can bring the directional Wi-Fi transceiver, whatever's, and set them up strategically. The AI will interact with, we've got it set up with a $30 tablet. So cost is really not an issue at scale. So it can interact with each user. It can know that John is over at this location, has these resources, and needs help. The closest person is James, who has something else. And it's not the AI replacing the human at the command and control center. It's the AI helping coordinate everything incredibly fast and also compliant in every way, as opposed to, wait, now speeds of the issue, you have to help people, but your health data is out there. You are a diabetic, and or you have other personal medication or whatever health needs that nobody needs to know about or should know about. Doing it this way, closed loop, everyone can have their own privacy still respected because it's compliant by design.
Yeah, I think that's when I first started thinking about your Solus and Cassie, that's the part that took me a little while to get my head around. But once you started describing how you can keep it local, and not in the cloud. So it's a very local AI tool. It started to make a lot of sense to me about what you're doing, and being able to use the technology that you have, right? So you have a laptop, a tablet, a phone, a few other devices, and you're leveraging what you already have to use AI, get all the benefits of the AI, but keeping it confidential, keeping it local, right? You're not in the cloud. I think, and you're right, disaster relief, I didn't even think about that. That would be a perfect setting to use your application, where you've got a lot of confidential information and you don't want it going up into the cloud and being shared all around throughout all these different AI platforms. That's really the genius part of it. And I remember you were talking about the persistent memory. Maybe you can describe a little bit about what that seems to be one of the key features, right? Or one of the things you use to have your platform run on. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes. And that goes back to what I touched on earlier, where we use a structured database, uh, actual columns and references, like a database is supposed to be used, as opposed to just storing one thing in one column so the AI has to struggle with it. In doing so, we are able to have it always be there from row one, day one, and whenever you log out of the system, if the system powers down, unlike other systems out there, you log out, you return to a clean blank slate. You're coming back and logging in and saying, hey, I'm John. It brings up everything that's in your database. So it is completely private still within it.
Yeah, that to me is the difference, one of the main differences that really stood out when I started learning about your platform. And I think it really, for the people that listen to the Think Factory, executives thinking about leadership and sharing information, I think, this sort of challenges a lot of the things we're thinking about these days. As I said in the beginning, we're all thinking about how do I adopt AI? And a lot of the different platforms we use, every day in business have all these added on AI features. A lot of it's fantastic. And I think we're not really thinking about the big picture, right? The big picture for executives is how do we keep the cost down and how do we keep our information of our clients and our business confidential? How do we stop our employees from jumping on these AI platforms and looking for answers and to questions that discloses what we're working on at our company? And I think that seems to me maybe the central features of what you're doing. And I think it'd be intriguing for executives and leaders of other companies to know about the platform about Solus and I guess Cassie's right, the name of your tool, right?
Correct. It's essentially the name of the app we created, and everything is open source for what we did. Uh, SQLite for the database, Olama hosting Llama on the MacBook. And it doesn't have to be a MacBook. It can be a PC running Linux. It can be a Android running off of the MacBook as well as an iPhone going on there. So it is cross-platform. You can use whatever devices and hardware you already have in use, and the actual AI hosted locally with your company will not have to be something specific to that. Um, it is completely reliable because it is local and controlled and owned by you, and it's upgradable.
Yeah.
You can change through everything through downloading, re-uploading backups, and you find a faster hard drive, change it and upgrade. If you find a different AI platform you want to use, swap it out on your own system. If you want to change to a faster Wi-Fi or hard-lined system, do that. Our platform is completely system agnostic, and it's your choice. Once you buy the hardware or use your own existing hardware, it's yours. You own it.
Yeah. That again, that to me is sort of the game changer in it. But and it seems like you've just fundamentally changed the approach to thinking about AI from this cloud solution that draws on everything. We like to think everything out there, the AI tool learns from everything and then gives you answers based on this big universe. But if you're trying to answer questions about your business and things related to your clients and things that are more very focused and specific, you have the data set that you want to pull from already. So you keep it under lock and key and start using the AI tool to really make better decisions and faster decisions and to serve your customers better, right? If they have questions about their accounts or especially the financial side, but really could be any service you're providing, right?
Absolutely. And one of the main reasons people don't trust AI is by default, it's used through the cloud. And people don't trust it because of data breaches. People don't trust it because they know whatever they send out there is going to be data mined to find out that, oh, they like the color purple. And I'm saying color purple, but it could be more important as far as like they did this.
Sure.
And now I've got that information on them. And nobody wants to feel that way, that they're being tracked or monitored, or that one company knows this and it could be stolen by a different company. If it's local by design and compliant by design, and you're using your existing hardware already, people have more trust because the company using it is owning your information. And when the company says, we aren't selling your email, you can actually believe they're not selling your email and they're not selling anything else about you.
Well, and maybe that is the next generation, right? That literally, that's why I like what you're saying. A lot of companies will say we're revolutionizing something, but it seems like you're the first person I've really talked to that's sort of taken this approach to AI and gone local with it. And I do think next gen is exactly the right thing, the way to describe what you're doing. Um, and I'm always mindful of time, but I'm really glad, John, that you were came on today and shared with us what you're doing at Solus, and told us about Cassie and your platform. I do think it's revolutionary. It's next gen. I mean, I just see if you can really get in front of the right people, to adopt your technology. I think the sky's the limit for you. That's fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we took this approach simply because nobody else out there likely would. Their business models are created through and because they use the cloud. So they have no incentive to change. They're making money off of storage, they're making money off of data mining, and if there's a data breach, we'll fix it, we'll patch it. It's easier just to pay the fee because they know they're going to make it up in other ways. So we're changing the system back to try and give it user trust for the companies and the individuals. And that's making AI something that's not scary, taking over human jobs, taking over what people might even think is their morality.
Right.
It's making AI an actual partner, helping and enhancing what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's critical, to have that mindset, because I do think there's a part of the AI technology that is a little bit, like you said, overwhelming with the replacing people, replacing things. But I think one of the key things that you said there was this trusted, it's a partner, but a trusted partner, right? And I know every leader of a company is always looking to develop relationships with customers they like and trust, with employees that they like and trust, platforms that they know and trust. We have all these tools, and I think trust is so critical, to a stable company, to a company that's growing and prospering. And I think what you're offering is great. Another solution that helps with some of the challenges with AI fundamentally like that. And I hadn't been thinking about it like so fundamentally, but it gets right down to, do you trust the tools you're using? And if you're concerned about confidentiality, about your information being sold or used by other people through the platform you're using, you kind of cut all that out. So super.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's using your existing technology. So you're not spending extra money. You're saving money by not using the cloud, and in having the local storage, being able to have everything permanently so you can audit it and you can know who did what, who knew what, when did they know it, how it was used from there. AI becomes that tool that is trusted because it's not controlled by someone else.
That's right.
So,
Well, I think that's great. And again, thank you for coming on the Think Factory. And the Think Factory powered by OGC Solutions. And another great episode. Appreciate your time and all your input on it, John. And thank you, listeners, for listening in. And we'll talk to you next time.
absolutely. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you having me here. Thank you.
You got it.